Well, good morning again, friends. It's Wednesday morning, and I'm just here early preparing for our prayer meeting at 11 o'clock this morning. And as I start to prepare, think about some of the people who have regularly attended our prayer meeting. And there's a couple of others that are apparently coming today who we haven't seen for a while. And I find myself particularly encouraged, even a little eager, that just one more person at a small group of under 10 of us, when you get just one more person who comes, in particular someone who hasn't been for a while, and someone that the other folks are always glad are here, which is our church family and members of the flock here at Downsview. It's exciting, and I feel like that's happening on Sunday mornings. You know, each week in the last probably 5 or 6 weeks, there's been someone who's made an appearance, one of you, who's come back, and by saying made an appearance, I simply mean at the lowest possible common denominator of just simply your presence in this room amongst the people of God. You have made a significant impact on one another, the people who are here. And it feels to me like every week or so, someone else might come to prayer meeting, someone else is there on Sunday morning. You hear about someone serving during the week. Someone talks about someone they haven't seen for a while, but at least they've been in touch with them. And I feel like God is just slowly pulling us back together to the way that He has designed us to live and to operate together. And I'm thrilled for that. I'm humbled for that. I'm even a little bit emotional when I start to think about it. Because the world has been through something that this globe has never, capital N, never encountered before. Next to the flood in Noah's time, has the entire world never been affected in the same way like this. Plagues and diseases, wars and difficulties, sure, those things have all happened before, but never in a way that affected Somalia and China and Greenland and New Zealand and Siberia and Ghana. Never mind that it affects Vancouver and Newfoundland at the same time in the same kind of significance. We just have never been through something like this before. And so all the things that we're so sure of, we just haven't been able to be sure of it. One of those key things that we have been struggling not to worry about as a leadership here is who's coming back. The overwhelming majority of the church have been away at different times in the last 105 Sundays. And so you need to know, brothers and sisters, and it's the kind of thing that just can grip us so significantly that when you come back amongst God's people, you are a significant source of encouragement. And when encouragement is something that encourages you, what I mean by that is when you are encouraged, that you know you're a source of encouragement, that ought to give you assurance that God's at work in your life. Because God is causing you and I to operate in a way that He's designed us to operate. And that only happens by grace. You know, the people of God are the ecclesia, those who are called out to assemble together. That's what the church is. That's who we are. And, you know, the Bible tells us in just, you know, account after account of just how encouraging that is, and frankly, how glorifying to the one who's called us together, called us to be together. 1 John is written by Grandpa John. This is Fred, you know. This is Phil, you know. This is an older gentleman who we look up to as godly brothers. And by the time John is writing this letter, this is it. He's an old man. I picture him with a long beard, sitting in a rocking chair, his feet up. He's not moving quite as quickly as he once did. His grandchildren come and get up on his knee, and he imparts to them great spiritual wisdom, born not only of revelation, but of experience of that revelation. John says in 1 John chapter 3 and verse 11, "For this is a message that you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another." And then he gives an example of how things went so wrong because they were so opposed to God's design. Verse 12, "We should not be like Cain, who was of the evil one and murdered his brother." Why did he murder? Because his own deeds were evil and his brother's righteous. "So do not be surprised, brother, that the world hates you. We know that we have passed out of death into life because we love the brothers." How do we know that we're Christians? John says, here's a key way to diagnose that. Do we have a sacrificial determination to do our brothers and sisters good? That's what love is. It's one way to describe it. And you and I can know, can diagnose, can be built up in the fact that we are His based on the fact that we love those who are His. There's been a lot said about church, and you know, the church is not a building, and that's certainly true. And the church never stopped gathering in one sense. That's true. And yet, this is what we do at Downsview. We're so, talk about physically distant, we are, right, so far away from so many of each other during the week, that this is what we do in our assembly on Sunday morning. And so it's a priority for us. And it's a priority way that we can live in a way that God has designed us to live, and to show that this assembling together, seeing one another, hearing one another, listening across the pews to the other conversations, hearing the sound of children. We have a lot of children, but boy, isn't that a terrific sound on Sunday mornings? To hear the sound, oh, and someone hasn't been here for a while. Hey, look! Because we love the brethren. We love our sisters in Christ. We love our brothers in Christ. And so please, Downsview, know how grateful we are as the leadership here, how grateful I am personally as a pastor, that each week we're taking another little step, another person shows their face, another person is here in their presence, the presence of God amidst His people. You are a significant, edifying influence at Downsview Baptist Church. We hope to see you Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, or maybe we'll see you come on over to our prayer meeting at 11 here on 11 on Wednesdays. All right, friends. Cheers.